Navy sent me to Taiwan on assignment as a U.S. Navy flight surgeon. At that time, Hong Kong did not have an embassy, it had a consulate. And Hong Kong did not have secure communications with the State Department. So anything that had to be transmitted in the secure communications mode got sent to Taiwan, where we did have secure communications with the State Department. And those communications would then be taken by courier to Hong Kong twice a week, every Tuesday and every Saturday. A C-47 flew to, or a C-54 flew to Hong Kong with a mail pouch of secure communications. So since my crews that I was a part of were flying twice a week to Hong Kong, I could go to Hong Kong anytime I wanted. I could have gone twice a week for the whole time I was there if I'd chosen to. I didn't do that, but I went frequently. One of the humorous stories that occurred in Hong Kong, Hong Kong was phasing out its rickshaws, and they were going to pedicabs in replacement. There were only a few rickshaws left on the streets in Hong Kong. One Saturday, General Sanborn, two-star general in the Air Force, and I were in full-dress military uniform walking down the street in Hong Kong, and here comes a rickshaw. Guy pulls up in front of us, pulls over to the curb, and out hops this lady giving us her business card. Her business card was Hot Pants Molly Malone. And I carried that card around for years. I don't know what ever happened to it, but I finally lost it somewhere. But that was just a humorous thing that I don't know what she expected to get out of General Sanborn, and she was just advertising, I suppose. But it was a funny thing that happened to us on the street in Hong Kong. We always, the crew always stayed in the President Hotel, which was adjacent to the Star Ferry that went over from Kowloon to the mainland, the main island of Hong Kong. It was a brand new hotel, probably 20 stories high, beautifully done. And so one Saturday we flew over, and I was again in full dress U.S. military uniform, checked into my room, got on the elevator and went downstairs to the Firecracker Bar and Grill for lunch. In the lower section, they had like a little food court down there. Part of it was...
It was named Firecracker?
Firecracker Bar and Grill. So I had a sandwich and this bowl of soup and was on my way back up to my room. Went to the elevators, got in the elevator in that basement area, and by myself went past the first floor up to the mezzanine floor, one floor above the lobby floor. The doors opened, and all of a sudden I could hear all the screaming and yelling, and the crowd was loud and almost out of control. And into the elevator walked these four young guys and a big burly fellow. And the door, I never saw the crowd, I just heard it. And the doors closed, and one of the guys looked at me and says, "You don't know who we are, do you?" And I said, "No." He said, "We're the Beatles." And I still didn't know who that was. They had not been to the U.S. yet. They were only in England, and this was their first trip to the Orient before they came to the U.S. I said, "Well, I suppose you were some kind of entertainers for all the noise being made out there," but I didn't know who the Beatles were. And it was 2 years later before I found out who the Beatles were. When I came back from Taiwan, I found out that the Beatles were famous, but I didn't know that then. That's that story.
That's a fabulous story. That's a fabulous story.
So I went up 7 floors with the Beatles. I got out, went into my room. They went on up. I don't know where they went.
We still have 2 left, Ringo and Paul.
Yes.
And John and George.
Yeah, John and George are gone. Yeah.
That's a great story.
My only claim to fame. I got to ride up on an elevator with the Beatles.
Well, I think you got more of a claim to fame than that, that's for sure.
The sun is fading away. That's the end of the day. As the June light turns to moonlight, I'll be on my way. Just one kiss and I'll go. Don't hide the tears that don't show. As the June